The one I absolutely did not expect to be there beyond anybody else was number 98, Rogerio Ceni.
I think it's a lovely thing that when you get that quirk of a goal-scoring goalkeeper.
It was a jolt when I saw his name. But there we go. It's nice to have surprises.
I think Casillas shouldn't be anywhere near this list. He was Real Madrid's number 2 during their domestic campaign, made a colossal error for Atletico Madrid's goal scored by Diego Godin in the Champions League final.
I'm sure there were players, like for example players who didn't play, who had worse World Cups than him.
The World Cup he had a complete nightmare.
It's a shame to see a player like that who was so great for so long lose his mojo in such spectacular fashion.
I think if I was naming my top 250 players, I don't think Casillas would be here.
I think Benatia has been the best defender in Europe for pretty much all of this year.
For him to be so far down the list, I think even Dani Alves is ahead of Mehdi Benatia.
Yeah,
that's a disgrace.
Especially after all the to-ing and froing of his transfer, he didn't let it affect him at all. Adapted to German football and an environment at Bayern where it's just not permitted to really make mistakes.
It's difficult to avoid this idea that like a good or bad angel over players' shoulders, that there's Mourinho cackling, rubbing his hands together with glee over David Luiz's shoulders.
You know, he's dropped 45 places, and I think maybe that is as a result of the World Cup.
In the case of Aaron Ramsey, he's been a great disappointment.
The form that he was in before he got that injury last December,
Oh yes,
he almost
absolutely.
wants to go back and just sort of say, well, maybe we could include Aaron Ramsey's last 6 months of 2013. And,
No, he can't.
And that can be his. That can be the reason that he's in here.
It looked like he just needed to sort of be in some kind of force field zone of the ball, and he was scoring.
You're wondering constantly with him about his fitness and the way that he can possibly recapture the level he had. So I'm surprised, yes, to see Ramsey and Wilshere.
There was a brief spell before he got injured where he was playing number 10 for Arsenal this season, and you began to see the real Jack Wilshere.
The point you could make is that there's a hint that he might be the beginning of a solution for England.
And then another long layoff makes it, back to square one for him.
Yeah, I never thought I'd say this, but I had Gervinho, I think, around 25th or 30th place in my list. I think he's had a brilliant year for Roma. Always a threat. You can never quite be sure what's going to happen at the end of his mazy dribbles.
There's a case for having him higher because of his audacity in attempting to smuggle a lady onto a plane on his way home from African Nations Cup qualifying duty. I think I might have submitted my list before that happened, otherwise he'd be definitely up another 10 places.
We all know your favourite song, Let It Go, from Frozen, and there's a line, the past, it's the past.
I would not have any of the three of them within an ass's roar of the top 50.